Not many people have come to my garage sale, and those who did come thought my IOUs were stupid. And so we're inviting you to the first ever Income School garage sale. But in all seriousness, this is not a clickbait. We really are selling all of our niche sites, and we're gonna explain why we're doing it and how some of you can buy them at a fire sale price pretty soon here. But for those of you who aren't interested in buying the sites, this is gonna be one of our coolest videos ever, because we're gonna dive into all of these case studies, how much money the sites earn, how much traffic they got, and exactly what work we had to put in to get them there. Let's get started. I can't believe we're selling our entire portfolio of sites, but here's why. Ricky and I set up the mission of this company is to help people to provide for their families by creating an income with an online business. And I don't want to talk negatively about anybody else, but I don't want our business, at least, to be the kind of internet marketer who created one niche site 5 years ago and they're using this 2014 case study for the rest of their careers. We want to be the people who are starting over from scratch on a brand new website, on a brand new YouTube channel, all the time, with no special advantages of pushing over your audience from an existing site to it, so that we're experiencing what you experience in the ghost town of starting a brand new website. So we made the really tough decision to sell our entire portfolio of websites, also because things are growing really fast here and we can't train employees to maintain this arm of the website where we're just making websites and also teaching it. We need to focus on you. So we're selling all of the sites at incomeschool.com/garage sale. One quick thing about the sale, and then we need to jump into the lessons that we learned, because most of you aren't going to be buying a website. You just want to learn from the case studies. We've only priced these sites on current traffic and current ads earnings. So we're not even taking into account affiliate, because we haven't had time to implement it on most of these sites. And so there's some major low-hanging fruit, and some of them, like Outdoor Troop, have hundreds of new posts written in 2019 that have had even less than a year to rank. And so it's a dumb time for us to be selling these sites. So don't take a lesson from when to sell, but we need to focus our business, and that's what this is really about. So let's get into the lessons learned. The number one thing that I learned is that there is a limit to how quickly we should be putting out content on a site. Now, if this is just you writing, you're not in danger of this. But I do see, especially Project 24 members, that they've written 15 posts, they're working, they're getting traffic, and so they say, sweet, I'm going to pay a content service to go write 75, and we're going to just dump it on this. And I have a little hesitation about that now, that I think the issue is your backlink profile is going to grow organically as you write good content and people naturally link to it on the web. And so if there's some kind of links to content ratio for a site, which would kind of make sense that is factored in at some point, then if we add a huge amount of content, we're kind of diluted in that balance there, right? And so I can see some value now in just recognizing that there may be some limit to just how quickly we should dump content on a site. Having said that, even on Outdoor Troop, where we dumped 720 posts in a year, while it may have not grown as quickly, it's definitely working, and the trend is up, up, up. I think 2020 is going to be the year for that site. And look at the ROI. So we spent an average of about $36 per post, paying for a writer to do it, plus the editing and some overhead, etc. About $36 per post that we paid. Now you multiply that by 719 posts, and you end up somewhere around $26,000. So we spent $26,000 on content, but that site is earning $2,000 a month only from ads, and I mean, only maybe a couple handfuls of posts are older than a year. So within a year, we're to a place that if a site is earning $2,000 a month, that, you know, that site, that's already worth it. If I could trade $20,000, $26,000 now for $2,000 a month for many years to come, sign me up. That's great. Let's make that deal. And you can always sell the site like we're doing now and get revenue from it kind of compiled at once. So I'm really excited about how quickly these sites grew. Having said that, another lesson that I've learned is we ran the numbers about a year ago and we found that 8 months was kind of the point where you'd get about 90% of the traffic that article is going to produce going forward. And we're not seeing that now. We're seeing some articles, there's definitely that hockey stick around the 8-month mark where things really start to move. But that content is continuing to grow to the 12 and 14-month mark, that we're still seeing growth in that same piece of content. And seeing it on such a large scale has been really exciting to see that 8 months is a great mover, and you should expect to see some movement then, but you probably haven't peaked at that point either. All right, thing number 3 is Drill Warrior. So we started drillwarrior.com on this channel as a dare. You remember the video where I called Ricky and I was like, hey, Ricky, let's make a site in 3 hours. And he was in the car and he was like, what? That's crazy. And I was like, well, let's do it anyway. And so we made the site and we came up with the name Drill Warrior. And we made we ordered the content fully outsourced. And that site is working, baby. It doesn't have that much content on it. I think it's only 67 posts, 100% outsourced. We didn't write any of it, and it's making money. I'm excited about that site. The traffic is really good. All it needs is turn on ads, and you're making money on that site. But the traffic has been really strong, especially in the last few months. So with Drill Warrior, we learned that 100% outsourced site can definitely work. And that was cool. That was actually the first time that we've outsourced every single post on a site without writing at all. Okay, Embora Pets. And this is where the one that kind of helped me to realize that the older content, even past 8 months, is still growing. So we started this out as snakeowner.com, and even today, the snake content they're still the top posts. And some of the newer content is filtering into those top posts now, where we've written about dogs and fish and all kinds of other things. But still, those top posts are snake stuff. And I don't think it's snakes that's the reason. I think it's just that was the older content. And so that's what's helping us to see that 8 months is a good mover, but again, not the peak. RPMs. So RPM stands for revenue per milli. It's how much money your site makes for having display ads on that page by how many, and it's calculated by 1,000 page views. So we saw huge swings in the RPMs that we're getting on these sites. So today I looked at it, and today Outdoor Troop is getting an $18 RPM, $18 for every 1,000 people that go to the site, page views anyway. $14 on Embora Pets, $10 on Dirt Bike Planet, and $27 on Camper Report. So those numbers change throughout the year. They're higher in December and lower in January because advertisers spend more money in December. But it really has me thinking as we're getting into niche selection in the future that the demographic makes a big difference to me now, because I want my site to do well on ads, right? And you see an audience of like camper owners. It's a lot of older people who are retired. It's a very American audience, which I'm sorry to say it, but American audiences just do better with ads. I'm not saying that's, any country's more valuable than others, the people, but in terms of ads, an American audience just does better. And it's an audience of people that have money and they're making a big purchase on an RV. And so I'm interested, as I'm looking at sites going forward, that if I think ads are a significant piece of the monetization, which they usually are for us, I'm thinking more about the demographic than I am how much am I going to make on the affiliate. So that's definitely been a lesson for us. And the last one keeps me up at night. It is 7yearolds.com. So we mentioned this a couple months ago as a case study of what not to do. So we started in 2018. We launched this site because the Medic update came out where Google was making it harder to rank for content that's very medically related, pharmaceuticals and weight loss and things like that are critical to someone's life that they want to make sure they're getting the search result right. So we created this site, and 9 out of 10 posts are like, things like, can a 7-year-old take this type of medication? Can a 7-year-old have depression? When should you take a 7-year-old to the doctor? That kind of stuff, like really important search results, because we wanted to test it. We wanted to know, can you still rank with really no EAT in that kind of industry? And our answer until a couple months ago was, yeah, don't do it. That site is dead in the water. And then we shared it as a case study here. And so, of course, we saw a spike that day that we released the YouTube video talking about it as a case study. And then it was dead after that. And then, bloop, 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 bloop. Apparently that's the sound Google Analytics makes. It started going up. And so now it's driving me crazy because did we somehow start ranking for these very medically related topics and this site is taking off because Google saw, hey, these people have an audience. They sent a flood of traffic over here. They have an audience. They must be more reliable. Or is it just that it took a longer time to rank and we called it quits too early on that website because it was a YMYL topic and they wanted to take a longer time to test the content? I don't know now, and it's driving me crazy. So we're going to have to test it again and wait longer before we share it as a case study. So go to incomeschool.com/garage sale. You're going to learn a ton, even if you have no interest in buying sites. That's like the one thing that for me when I was starting out was so helpful, is seeing real numbers from real sites so that I can visualize and understand what it takes to succeed. So those of you who are interested in buying, be cautious. I mean, I think these are ridiculously undervalued sites, how we're putting them there, even though some of them are very expensive. I think they're very good investments, but you need to be cautious. Be sure you really understand internet marketing and you understand what kind of investment you're making, because it's a lot of money and you want to make sure you're doing it right. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next week.